Hi guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm. Today is Soapbox Sunday, and it's the first in the series. And this week I'm going to be talking to you about selling fertile eggs. Now, no, this has got nothing to do with IVF. This is to do with poultry eggs, mostly from your farm. Where we live, strangely enough, we are not allowed to have roosters. We can have unlimited number of chickens as long as they're housed, you know, in approval with the RSPCA and you know, government guidelines as to, you know, their health and well-being and so forth. But as long as we're doing the right thing, basically, we can have as many as we like. No roosters. Anyway, so what we have to do, we don't have anywhere where you can buy meat birds or anything like that. So what we have to do is we have to buy fertile eggs, and that's fine. That's not a problem. And during the summer months, we've got various breeders, you know, people around us within a couple of hours drive that sell fertile eggs, and we some we go to all the time because we know, you know, we have great hatch rates and no dramas. Others not so good, but if that's the only place we can get them, that's the only place we can get them. And obviously we've learned over the years there's some just don't go to at all. But the thing is, when you're at the mercy of other people, because obviously we do this to replace our laying flock, you know, keep a turnover of those going, but we do it for meat birds. So, you know, we get dual purpose heritage birds, mainly Australorps, the Sussex breeds, the Orpingtons, things like that. Coming, you know, it was a good sized bird. Anyway, there's a lot of breeds here in Australia that are fairly rare, and yeah, certainly not common in this state. Morans are a case in point. We have one very reputable breeder here, fortunately, that does French Wheaten Morans, which are probably my favourite of the Morans, I have to say. But one I know a lot of our American is there a dog in the beanbag under the tripod?
Certainly sounds like it.
Under the tripod?
Next to it. He's comfortable now.
Oh good, because the tripod was walking across the floor. I apologise for that. I suspect it's my daughter's dog, is it?
Yes.
My daughter's dog. He's the father of the current litter of puppies. Just made himself comfortable and moved the tripod, so I might have to move across to be in the centre now. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, the black copper Morans. A lot of our US homesteaders talk about the black copper Morans. Now, my understanding is that they've never officially been introduced to Australia, not through the proper channels. They did appear here about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it is suspected that someone has brought them in, you know, smuggled some eggs in through border control or customs, and has hatched them, and they are now in this country. And it's not illegal to have them, it's just illegal to import them or import the eggs. So as long as you haven't done that, you're not doing anything wrong. And I saw a guy advertising them and I thought, oh, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Ordered them at considerable price, but I thought, you know, my wife loves her laying hens, and I thought she always likes something different in the heritage lines, so I got them for her. Well, when they arrived, the foolish man had, rather than, and I tell people this, don't wash them. Whatever you do, don't wash them. Okay? Individually wrap them in bubble wrap, put them pointy side down back in their carton. Make sure the carton, particularly the top of it, the bottom is moulded to fit the egg, but the top is sort of open. So in the top, fill up any gaps with tissues or something, so that when you put the lid down, it doesn't quite close, it's a bit tight. And then when it's at that point, you gently push it down, and then you tape the whole thing up to hold it sort of firmly, so that you can pick up that carton and give it a shake, and the eggs just don't move because they're in there rigid. Once that's done, you wrap the whole thing in numerous layers of bubble wrap, okay? And then it goes in your box or your satchel bag, whatever it is, okay? And then they're fine. If it's dropped from a great height, of course you're going to get the odd one crack or something like that, but they're basically fine. This guy, he cleaned them for a start. He individually wrapped each egg, right? And then he got a solid plastic container with a lid, and he put them all in there. But they only about 3/4 filled it. So he put a couple of sheets of bubble wrap on the top. But it meant that if you turned the thing upside down, they all rolled about and moved about. But I think he thought because they're wrapped in bubble wrap, they're fine. But I said to him, you think about it, you pick up the whole container and give it a shake. Doesn't matter how much bubble wrap they're wrapped in. If they can move about inside that container, they break. I'm going to show you a slideshow in a minute. We've had, in the last month, we've had the black copper Moran eggs arrive, screaming disaster. We've had French wheaten Moran eggs arrive no, it's today as in the day I'm filming this, but when you're watching it, it's a few days ago. But French wheaten Moran eggs just scrambled in the carton. Only one Buff Orpington egg survived. What else? Oh, we had 2 broken in a dozen Rhode Island red. But 2, and they weren't shattered, they were cracked. That I can live with when I'm having them posted from interstate. But, you know, when it's just down to stupidity, I know you can't help what the Postal Service is going to do. But seriously, there is so many things you can do if you out there are someone who sells their fertilised eggs. One, you're doing a great service for people like me that can't have their own fertile eggs. You're doing a great service for people that want to get another breed of chicken. And so this is the easiest way to do it. And we'll get fresh genes from another gene pool interstate or whatever. All these things, a wonderful thing that people are doing. But do the right thing, because it costs people a lot of money to buy these things. For a start, you gather them up and you make sure, not just when you send them, that they're not old, but that when they reach their destination, they're still going to be, you know, within a certain time frame. I mean, here in Australia we have a service, and it's not that much, it's not that dear, where you can send a parcel from one capital city to another and it goes overnight, guaranteed next day delivery. If you're outside of the cities, then it will be 3 days. Okay? But these eggs that I received today, apart from the fact they're all smashed up, the guy sent them in normal parcel post. And he's outside a city, I'm outside a city, takes a week to get here. And then you've got the age of the eggs on top of that. So bear in mind when you're gathering them, the age they are when you send them, and how old they're going to be when they hit the incubator at the other end. Okay, because you got to let them sit for a day, remember, just to settle. So there's that. Please don't wash them. Don't wash them. Everybody washes them. I've probably come across 3 people that don't. And yet everyone knows this rule, and they're so paranoid about people seeing a bit of chicken poop on their eggs. Who cares? Okay? Don't wash them. So that's another thing. Store them pointy side down and turn them. Don't refrigerate them. Obviously don't keep them in the sun. Keep them somewhere cool and dry. Right, with a little bit of humidity. Put them in a cupboard. Put a damp tissue under the carton or something like that. What I do is when we're storing them like that, they go in a cupboard. And in the morning, I have something under one end of the carton so it's like this. And then in the evening, I turn the carton round so it goes like that. So morning and night, the cartons go like this. Okay? Oh, when I say that's what I do, not with chicken eggs obviously, we can't have a rooster, but with duck eggs, quail eggs, anything like that that I'm selling fertile, that's what we do. Alright? And obviously you write the date on that they're laid. These are basic things, and I don't understand why people out there can't adhere to the basic rules that everyone who hatches eggs in an incubator and has their own poultry, everyone knows these rules, but they don't seem to abide by them when someone else is buying the eggs. And I think we should be there helping each other out. You know, it's not cheap to do it. To get a couple of dozen eggs from interstate, it costs you $50 or $60 minimum, and depending on the eggs, it could be over $100. Now, I'm happy to pay $50 or $60 for eggs that, one, we might get a couple of girls to add to the laying flock from heritage breeds, and the rest go in the pot. It's still cheaper, than buying chicken at the supermarket or butcher's. It's still cheaper than buying pullets to add to the flock. But it's a lot of money to spend when half of them are going to turn up as scrambled eggs. And now I'm going to just quickly go to the slideshow to show you what I mean. See what I mean? It's just ridiculous, isn't it? So, you know, and it doesn't do your reputation any good. You've got to remember your homestead's making money by selling those fertile eggs. People aren't going to come back. They really aren't. I happen to have been very, very lucky with the people that I've had trouble with in the last month. Are genuinely horrified when I've sent them the photos, and are apologetic, and when I've pointed out to them this is how you should be doing it, have actually, all of them have actually taken my advice, and they've basically said to me, if you're happy to pay for the postage, we will replace you, we will send you, you know, another dozen, 2 dozen, whatever, eggs free. Which is brilliant, and obviously I'm going to take them up on it. I'd be crazy not to. But I'm very lucky, because that's probably not the normal practice. In fact, I know it's not. We did have trouble a couple of years ago. We got some Barnevelder eggs through the post, and we got 2 out of 2 dozen that were okay. And I'm, you know, I'm a reasonable person. I don't send people emails or texts ranting and raving. I start off polite, just saying, well, look, the eggs have arrived, and this is what's happened. Here's some photos. You know, it's a bit disappointing, and I let them take the lead initially to see what they're prepared to do about it. And she was blatantly, well, yeah, that's really bad luck. But, you know, when you have them posted, that's the risk you take, and that was her attitude. And she's right in that it is the risk you take, but when the damage is because of the negligence in the packaging, they've got to accept some of the responsibility. And as I say, I've been very lucky with these last few. They have done just that. But as I say, a lot don't. And a lot, when they're advertising, will specifically say, happy to post at your risk. And that's a bit unfair if, as I say, the damage comes from their negligence in their packing process. Anyway, so that's my first Sunday Soapbox. I hope you enjoyed it. When I first thought of doing this, I actually sort of thought, oh, yeah, problem is, what are you going to get on your soapbox about? Because I had this idea probably a week ago. I've got a list as long as your arm of things I want to get on my soapbox about. I was going to I had 2 other subjects that I was going to do sort of first and second. And then just before I started filming, these eggs arrived hot on the heels of the ones from a couple of weeks ago. And that was it. That tipped the balance. So that's how we came about the context for today's video. Okay, well, if you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe. You can watch our cooking videos, or you can watch videos on anything else we've got on there. Or you can just tune every Sunday to listen to me rant and rave about something, but that's fine. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on that. Give us a big thumbs up, share us on social media, and until next time, it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm. See ya!